What is up, dudes and dudettes? I am the Mystical Green Beanie. And sorry this video is a day late, guys. I've just started classes and just been really hectic. And I am guessing you don't care about my personal life. So I'll shut up about it and get into this week's episode of Hitting the Books, which I'll be talking about Green Arrow, the Nightbirds. Now, the best way I can explain this is that it does what Arrow tries to do, but better. And don't get me wrong, I really like Arrow, and I'll make a video detailing why I like Arrow later on, but this ain't that video. So without further ado, let's jump right into the review. So the story is basically this. There are these things that are grabbing people off the streets and dropping them out of the sky. And it's mainly happening in Pennytown, kind of. I mean, we're told this, but only later on. The problem with the story arc is that there's a lot of telling and not showing. So the reader is left to put the puzzle pieces together, and I'm not a big fan of that. But it doesn't break the story because I think the writing is good enough to mask it, but I digress. So yeah, people are dying, and Ollie's like, damn, that's weird. Should probably go investigate that later. So yeah, soon afterwards, Ollie's just trapped in this board meeting where this guy is pitching his newest Save the City project, which is called the Panopticon to Queen Industries. And I forget his first name, but his last name I remember because it's Zim, and I'm a huge Invader Zim fanatic. But anyways, later on, the mayor and Zim reveal the Panopticon to the Seattle Police Department. And contrary to the Queen Industries executives, not all the cops are okay with this. See, the Panopticon is basically a profiling death machine. And one of the first people it judges is a homeless kid who steals a burger from a guy who, based off the art, really didn't need it. But yeah, the Panopticon is shown killing other bad guys in the streets, and Ollie is he thinks this is a bad thing. And Emiko replies to him saying that, well, I mean, you're the one who backed the project, because as we see on the yeah, it was a TV screen. I was gonna say it was on a poster, but that's dumb. But yeah, it was on a TV screen, and it says that Queen Industries is funding the Panopticon. So Green Arrow goes out to check the manufacturing plant where the Panopticon drones are being made, forcing Emiko to stay behind, which turns out to be a bad idea because he gets his ass royally handed to him by Zim, who's piloting his own special Panopticon robot. So after a while, the public they notice that Green Arrow has gone missing, and in both protest and memoriam, they all wear hoods. Meanwhile, the mayor is seeing how backing the Panopticon in the first place really put a dent in his re-election chances by people starting to attack him verbally. Later on, Emmy goes off to find help from Fife because she knows that something bad has just happened to her big brother. And oh, dude, it's just a great scene between Emmy and Fife because you know she tells him that he's a man-child who never grew up, and Fife rebuts by telling her that she's a kid who likes to play grown-up and never had a childhood to begin with. Just dude, kudos to the writing there. Then again, I'm gonna have to take that kudos back when talking about the next part because remember, as I said, there is a lot of telling and not showing. So yeah, here we go. While GA is bound all like robot hentai style by Zim in his secret lair, we're told that Zim hired these racists to help him work on the Panopticon, and that's why a lot of the people who were minorities were protesting in the first place. And really told this twice. The first time was in issue 42 in like one panel, and again here. And it's just stuff like that that makes me think that this arc would have been better benefited by having 5 or 6 issues because it really feels crammed only having 3. Anyways, Emiko comes in, she saves Oliver, and in the end, Zim gets the Panopticon robot destroyed. Well, Zim doesn't get it destroyed. Green Arrow actually destroys it, but, he's inside of it, and blah, 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 blah. So, yeah, the Panopticon is destroyed, and the rest of the drones are deactivated. Thus, Green Arrow has saved the day yet again. I know that I skipped a lot of important stuff in this book, but, see, the reason I did that is because a lot of the really important stuff is so fascinating and just so well written. I just want you to go out and read this for yourself. And I know, like, I kind of seem down on this book, just based off some of the judgmental things I've said. But really, I know it's not a perfect story, and it could have been written a little better. But dude, do yourself a favor and just go read it. So yeah. So the art for this new run was done by Patrick Zurcher. I think I said that right. Yeah, pretty sure I said that right. Uh, and I know him from Exo Manowar, and I've heard that he's done some stuff on Future's End, but I never read Future's End, so I wouldn't know. But anyways, the art's very moody, and it fits the tone of the book, and it fits Ollie's new attitude. But the selling point for me was the colors, and the colorist for this was Gabe L. Tabe. Again, a name I think I butchered completely, but I think he did a really good job of immersing you into this really gritty story with the colors that he did. In fact, I'd go to sorry, tongue twister. In fact, I'd go as far to say that the art made this comic look like a very high budget episode of Arrow. I mean, hell, Oliver, like as he's drawn in the story, looks exactly like Stephen Amell in those flashbacks with the long hair. Just yeah. As far as the things that stood out to me, whether they be good or bad, starting off with the good, I love the social commentary. Because let's be real here. We're living in a new age of discrimination, hate crime, racism, and class prejudice. And this book addresses all those things. Could it have been done a little better? Yeah. But for a 3-issue story arc, I'd say that Benjamin Percy, the writer, did a pretty good job. Not only that, but 2 years ago, there was a similar controversy. It was actually a really big controversy over the real life Seattle Police Department using drone technology. Now, granted, they weren't flying murder bots with Doc Ock tentacles, but it was still controversial nonetheless. And as for the bad, you've heard me harp on this multiple times already, but yeah, the arc just feels too cramped, and it really should have been a little longer. But honestly, that's my only complaint. So yeah, guys, Green Arrow, The Nightbirds, good stuff. Again, I highly recommend this, even if you're not a GA fan. I think that this is a great starting on point. And if you are a Green Arrow fan, I mean, look, it feels like Arrow. I'm not going to lie to you about that. And I know that a lot of Green Arrow fans hate Arrow, but at the same time, this is just a really well written story. Uh, so, I mean, I do wish that Ollie joked around a little bit more, but the humor is still there, just comes from other places. But yeah, this was a really well written story, very well drawn and colored. And yeah, guys, I recommend you picking this up. Yeah, I am the Mystical Green Beanie, and as always, until next time, adios, nachos.